Hey guys, Brian from Boas here. I've been getting a lot of questions from you guys lately about my 2020 Hog Island boa litter, so I wanted to give you guys an update on that, as well as say a little bit about my Hog Island plans for 2021. As you may recall, my first litter of 2020 was a small litter of Hog Island boas. There were 4 animals and something like about 6 or so slugs, which are unfertilized eggs. So that was a little disappointing. But the 4 babies were beautiful, and I was really happy with the quality of those animals. Hog Island boas, as far as the babies, have been a challenge for me because I have difficulty getting them to feed on rodents. And in the past, typically around half or so of my Hog Island babies don't feed from the beginning. And usually I'm able to get them feeding after a few months, often with using assist feeding. So with these animals, of the 4, one of them ate pretty quickly, within the first few weeks. And that animal was established and he went off to his new home quite a while ago. But the remaining 3, I just had to continue to assist feed for quite a long time. It's been several months now. And finally one of them ate for me about a week or so ago, so I was really happy to see that. So here's the guy who finally ate for me. It was actually just a few days ago. And these 3 animals, I assist fed a total of 6 times, spaced out every week or 2. I would basically just take a couple of mouse tails and lubricate them up with some water or egg white, and then basically just gently push the mouse tail into the snake's mouth, and the snake will swallow the mouse tail after that. And in general, I don't like doing this. It's always great if the animals just eat on their own, and I use this kind of assist feeding as a last resort. But it's worked for me pretty well in the past, and I think using a mouse tail is less invasive and traumatic than, for example, using a whole rodent. And like I said before, I've used this on my Hog Island and some other difficult feeders like my Qual boas sometimes need to have this done. And typically it works. I just, repeat it for a few months and they finally start eating. And so you can see this guy actually looks like he's gotten bigger. So it's kind of strange that they seem to grow even though they're not eating. That they don't really get that much nutrition obviously from that mouse tail. It's just a little bit of sustenance. But again, I use 2 mouse tails and I do this every week or every other week, and it seems to work for most of my animals in the long run. So I still have 2 babies to go, and I'm hoping they're going to start feeding pretty soon. And I've tried all kinds of tricks, scenting with all different smells from different animal sources, putting in paper bags, things like that. I actually did a video about this, and these tricks I've tried really haven't really worked all that well for me. Maybe a little bit of success, but overall it doesn't seem like there's any real secret that really works to get all these Hog Island boas to eat. And this has been frustrating for me. I really love the look of these Hog Island boas. I think they're one of the most beautiful locality boas, and they're real pleasure to handle and to keep as a pet. But the fact that often half of the litter doesn't eat is really frustrating. And in the past I've lost a few babies that just ultimately didn't eat. It went on for months and months, and they just seem to kind of waste away. And that mouse tail doesn't really provide that much sustenance, so unfortunately I have lost a few babies in the past. So at one point I even thought about getting out of Hog Island boas just because it was so frustrating. But I really do love these animals. I just think they're really beautiful, and they're really a mainstay in any locality boa collection. And in addition, I'm holding back animals that eat from the beginning, without having to do any kind of tricks or assist feeding. So I'm hopeful that these animals will pass on the genes to their babies, and they're going to be more likely to eat from the beginning. So I'll show you some of those holdbacks now. My 2019 litter was a different female with the same male that sired the 2020 litter, and I ended up holding back 3 of these animals from 2019. And as I mentioned, I picked animals that ate from the beginning with no hassle. So hopefully these guys have encoded in their DNA, a signal that says eat live fuzzy mice from the beginning. So it's got to be encoded in the genes somewhere. So let's hope that, you know, this animal, when she's ready to breed in a few years, that she'll give rise to babies that eat from the beginning. And here we have a 2018 holdback Hog Island boa. You can see the size progression. This one is now going on 2.5 years old. And so I also held back 3, a male and 2 females from the 2018 litter. And like the 2019 litter, I specifically picked animals that didn't have issues with feeding from the beginning on live mouse fuzzies. And this animal is actually a half sibling to the 2019 animal I showed you, and he's a full sibling to my 2020 litter. So my next year, my potential 2021 litter will be a different female, and I've actually found that her babies are a little less difficult to get to eat than the female that I bred this year. And so we'll see, hopefully in 2021 I'll have a decent litter, hopefully a bigger litter than I got in 2020. But, you know, I don't know, it might be due to the male. I've been using the same male for the last few years, and maybe he's just getting a little tired and isn't able to keep up the baby production. So, you know, fingers crossed. I actually did think about not breeding hogs next year, just giving them a rest. And because, as I said before, it's always really frustrating and labor intensive having to force feed or assist feed the babies. But I really like these animals. You know, I think they're a great boa for a lot of people. And, you know, unfortunately, I have to turn down a lot of people that want them just because I don't have that many. But, you know, as I said before, I have the 3 right now. One of them is finally eating. You know, that one will be available at some point. It might not be till the spring. I really have to make sure he's good and established. And then hopefully the other 2 will, you know, start eating soon so that they'll be ready for a new home as well. So there you have it. That's the latest on my 2020 Hog Island boas and my plans for the 2021 boa breeding season. I hope this video was helpful. As always, feel free to shoot me any questions or comments you may have. Thanks for watching, and enjoy your boas.